All right, so like the first story of today is puzzle and shooter games are leading mobile gaming ads opportunity. That is according to eMarketer. I thought that was one that I wanted to pick up just because it's something that we talk about. We talk about Roblox a lot, but I think it was important as well to highlight the opportunities of different genre games. And like UGC platforms or shooter game, I feel like a kind of the obvious choice. But one that we don't speak a lot about is puzzle games. So I know that we speak about Candy Crush that can be considered in some way as a puzzle game. But something that eMarketer has highlighted within their recent report was also the how do you call it? The popularity of puzzle games and how much marketer can essentially tap into those really popular puzzle games. So one of the numbers that also caught my attention was that mobile gaming in-app purchases revenue has now reached 21 billion. That is
Wow.
only in Q3 2025. So I think really interesting to put that into perspective. We are going to delve into the earnings of Roblox, but just to show the sheer volume of microtransaction that are happening within those mobile games. And strategy, puzzle, and RPG games are currently leading the field. They are bringing
Hmm.
together 2 billions, which is massive. And something that Dentsu has highlighted in previous studies before is that only 5% of media is actually going towards mobile gaming, which is a huge gap when you think about the amount of time people are spending on there. And it kind of goes with another article that I saw on the New York Times gaming app. Are you familiar with this one?
I'm no, I mean, I know the app, but I don't use it.
So have you played Wordle at all? Like, were you part
Yeah,
of?
I know Wordle.
Okay, so that's part of like one of the games that you can play on there. And it's obviously smaller than Roblox, but still, like, just you think, so the New York Times app essentially has Wordle. They also have different kind of like word puzzle games, but that is 10 million daily active users alone. So just to like show a little bit the volume of people that are on a daily basis playing those kind of games. So whether they are the biggest opportunity, I am skeptical around that. I still think there's other platforms that you can do media. But what I thought was interesting is that these puzzle games are actually reaching an audience that maybe is skewed more older. And that could be quite interesting for marketers that are currently struggling to reach some of these audiences. So I thought that was quite an interesting piece of insights. But I don't know what your thoughts are on this.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, it's just more evidence and proof that this is such a growing industry and it's an
That's right.
untapped one. And I think that it's a good reminder that all kinds of different people of different ages are gamers.
That's
So
right.
if a lot of older people are playing puzzles, it's a way to reach those target demos that you're looking for. So I think that's really smart.
What do you have next?
So for my story, it's all about how brands are shifting their ad spend to Reddit. And of course, Reddit is the social news aggregation and discussion website. I saw this story about how major brands are pouring their ad dollars into not just the traditional ad placement of buying media on Reddit, but more this kind of subversive strategy. So there's this leaked industry deck stating that marketers are treating Reddit as a new kind of search engine, one that feeds directly into AI systems like ChatGPT and Google Gemini. So essentially, their strategy, they're basically sending their marketing teams in to the platform, reviving old threads, seeding new discussions, and hiring third-party groups to generate content that could later appear in AI-generated search results. So basically, like gaming the system a little bit, like coming in and talking about their products, talking about their brand. Um, it's supposed to be organic, but this is sort of contrived. And so then what happens is the chatbots, they crawl these sites and that's where they pull out a lot of their information from. And I think that the AI platforms, they're essentially putting more value in these platforms like Reddit because it's supposed to be more organic or authentic or more like populist discussion. Um, and a negative take on this is like that's fake, right? So it's like it's not real. It's more contrived. And I see a world where all this could be automated. You could have bots come in and just dump a bunch of information about your brand into platforms like Reddit, and then the other bots kind of scraping all of that and formulating an opinion. I don't know. It's subversive marketing. It's super smart, but also I feel like it's a little tricky. What are your thoughts?
I'm all for it because I mean I've been saying that for quite some time that I think brands should really look into Reddit because this is what all of those LLMs AI engine they love, like they thrive on those like forums. That's where they
Yep.
find most of their information. So I think this is really smart. I don't think it's going to be inauthentic. It's just the same way, at least, that you have ad and promoted content on other platforms. There just needs to be regulation to make sure that people are aware that this is done
Regulation. Yeah.
by the brand.
Yeah, we just need some guardrails. Otherwise, it's going to be a slop, a bunch of untrustworthy slop. But
Yeah, but it's the same as like social media, right? But
yeah,
yeah,
no, no, no.
I
I mean,
see I
it's
see what you mean. Reddit
yeah.
felt a bit like the untouched, social media. So it feels a bit like it hurts to see let it go. But I think they're just catching on with any other social platforms.
Well, advertising is a necessary evil. It helps the world run, and it will
Exactly.
find its way into any popular platform.
Exactly.
So it's
Um,
the natural momentum of things. But let's jump to our final story. We're going to split this one. This is all about the Roblox Q3 earnings report that just came out. That was pretty impressive. Albane, you want to share some stats?
Yes, let's kick things off on this one. I'll share a few stats that's top line, but the one that everyone is talking about at the moment is obviously the fact that they have now reached 151 daily active users. So that is a 70% year-on-year growth. This is massive.
Huge.
Huge and something that funnily enough I'm not seeing a lot of people communicating around, but again to reassure brands that out of those 101 daily active users are 13 plus, and this is where we are seeing the largest growth is in the users that are 13 plus. That is a 89% year-on-year growth. So we are really seeing the platform aging up and being a lot more for young teens to adults as opposed to the under 13. So I just thought it's always reassuring to see that the
That's
growth is coming from the audience that brands are most likely interested in reaching. So I just thought that was something to highlight there.
That's huge, but I feel like the public perception is not that's not permeating through
It's still
public
not catching
perception
up,
yet.
but I feel it's because people are like, because I think the number that I'm seeing a lot on LinkedIn being communicated is the 150 daily active users. I would be shouting out more on the one like the 100 over 100
Totally
daily
agree
active
with
users.
that.
I 13 plus. I
Yeah.
think that should be really the focus. And the other thing to highlight here is that again, for the pessimistic, the argument could be maybe there's a lot of like 13 plus, but the people that are actually playing are the ones that are under 13. But actually, the 13 plus demographic are the ones that are spending the most time on the platform. So that is in Q3, that was 26.9 billion hours. Again, that is over 100% growth year on year. So not only there are more people that are like over 13 joining the platform, but there also are the ones that are spending the most time on that platform. So again, another reassurance for brands that this is the platform that they need should they want to engage with the Gen A's and the Gen Z's.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. But let's talk about like where the money is coming from.
That's right. So the other element that I wanted to point out is while it is true that APAC is currently where most of the users are coming from, the US, you guys are the ones that are spending the largest spenders of Roblox. So if you look at the number of booking by daily active users, the US is still the ones that is leading. They are representing 60% of the revenue of Q3, which is huge. And they're then followed by Europe and APAC, but 60%. So it just shows it's quite important for a brand when they are, thinking strategically. If your objective is essentially to generate revenue, and less focus on impression or visibility of your brand of a specific market, it's quite interesting to understand how people and what type of users are spending on the platform. And it's obvious that the US is currently leading and has more I think capital to spend on the platform compared to other platform. APAC is actually the lowest spender. So while they are the biggest users, they are the lowest spender on the platform. So I thought that was quite interesting for brands to keep in mind.
Yeah, no, these are great insights. And let's talk about how the costs are going up for the Roblox Corporation itself. Um,
Yes. Yes. So up next is the financial stats. So they've announced a 1.4 billion revenue, which is incredibly impressive. Again, another growth that the Roblox is announcing. I did wanted to point out as well that, their cost of revenue has went up about 45% year on year, which means that, they are still not profitable. So while they are making a lot more revenue, it also costs a lot more for them to run, and they are investing largely in three key pillars, which I wanted to discuss with you. So one of the first one is obviously the fact that there is more people to host on the platform. So there is a large increased cost on infrastructure. Another reason why the cost of revenue is larger is because they are paying creators a lot more. So that has increased by 85% year on year, which is kind of great. It just demonstrates that they have a healthy, I would say, creator economy and
Hmm.
like activity on the platform. So yes, it's costing them more, but this is just showing the opportunities for creators when they are going on this platform. They can generate a large revenue.
That's
And the
right.
last one, which I think is kind of reflective of what's happened in the last that quarter, is they're investing heavily on infrastructures for safety on their platform. So
In
that
moderation.
again, yes, exactly. So that has increased again. That spend has increased by 61%. So it kind of explained why Roblox is still not profitable, even with that amount of revenue. And I don't know what your thoughts are, but I think it makes sense in my opinion. Like, this is a growth platform. I don't think profitability is their objective at the moment. Their objective is growth, and it's more about investing in the right infrastructures and the right framework so that they can continue to grow and scale. So I wouldn't worry too much, because I'm seeing a lot of different opinion online about the fact that they're still not profitable and this is a bad sign. But to me, where they are currently investing seems just, I guess, a normal and in the trajectory of a growing growth platform.
Well, yeah, the fact that they're not profitable is not great, but if you look at the year-over-year growth over the past few years, it's just, skyrocketing forward.
That's
So
right.
you can't ignore that, and the investors like that. It's exciting, but at some point, you need to turn a profit. Otherwise, you can't just operate at a loss forever.
No,
So
I'm sure. I'm sure they probably have this conversation with their investors, but I would say where they're not investing in, I don't know, they are investing in what is going to be, the big pillars of their platform if they want to continue to grow. So I'm quite glad to see that, still investing, and this is a good signal to say that the creator economy is thriving. They have to pay them more. And then the other one is obviously the infrastructure and safety, which I think was a necessity with what's happened in like what we're seeing in the press. So I think they're just putting the right infrastructures that are then going to lead to probably more revenue in, hopefully in the long terms, around the ad side, because they need to convince marketers that this is a safe platform for them to advertise as well as scale.
yeah, it seems like they're making a lot of the right choices. So excited. I'm really curious to see how Q4 is going to turn out. But
Yeah,
at
I'm
this
sure
rate,
it'll be
it should just
fine.
keep
They're gonna
growing.
smash it. They're gonna
But
smash it.
that covers the Roblox side. Let's jump over to the Fortnite side, and also an amazing platform that is doing fantastic things. You have a real-time review for us this week.
Yes.
You want to tell us what that is?
Yes, let's get into our real-time review.
That's it for this week's news highlights. If you're watching on YouTube, don't miss the full episode featuring our real-time review of The Simpsons on Fortnite and our interview with Margot Rodde, founder and CEO of Creators Corp. See you there.